Ladies and gentlemen, it's another Gauntlet series going back to Acropolis #1 with my homie Frog No-Go, aka IskatuMesk. What's up, dude?
Hi, how are you young bucks doing?
Listen, this game is going to determine who faces off against Inozlix in the next time we cast one of these series. We're going to the opener numero uno, because why cast it in order? It is going to be Grunch, a player who I believe at this point was playing as Terran, eventually switched to Zerg, and now I think he kind of went the Hapsea route of thinking that the game was too hard or something, so he's no longer with us. But either way, Grunch did play.
His RTS legacy.
Yeah, Grunch did play, and he's playing against DeadInfested, who obviously has a very deranged username on the server now, as you've pointed out a few times. So let's see what happens. We're going to be going to Axiom first, which was... Honestly, it's funny because it was the Battlements group stage starter as a map, but it seems to also be a favor in general. We've got DeadInfested. I'm going to say that is that Dark Spring Green? No, it's Midnight Green. I knew it was Midnight Green, but I didn't say it. Anyways, the Zerg in the top right, and down here, I'm going to guess this is Saffron? No, it's Lemon. Fuck!
It's Piss.
It's Lemon, Grunch Terran in the bottom left. So, indeed, TVZ, I'm expecting some silly shenanigans here because DeadInfested switched to Zerg right before this tournament, and well, he's known as a bit of a cheeser, so I'm expecting silly.
Just a little bit. Maybe this is what Buck broke our young man here, Grunch. Maybe he gets Buck broken by this experience.
We'll have to see.
Sends him teetering down the edge.
He stuck around a lot longer, but I will say it's kind of funny that he faces off against DeadInfested, who is Zerg, and then at some point later on in the future, he switches to Zerg himself. So maybe DI gives him a little bit of a compelling argument to switch away from Terran. But it will be a Fulcrum first, so Mech into Zerg is going to be our opener here. And, of course, the pool... I say, of course, like it's normal, but no, I swear it's not normal to go pool first, but DeadInfested has some plan.
Oh, did people finally switch off of fast quasis?
Well, they might still go quasis, but versus mech, I think you kind of want to isolate things like Goliaths or whatever. Quasis don't do hardly any damage to them.
Mech wasn't like super common back then,
yeah.
though, but it probably came as a result of the Huracan changes, is what I'm guessing.
Well,
people thought, oh my god, now they're useless because they don't instantly kill tier 2 and tier 3 buildings.
Well, they still do if you pair them with Mavericks because the armor in, but you know.
Yep.
That being said, it looks like DeadInfested, who was idling a worker for a while there, decided to put a Hatchrosk down at the ramp and is indeed tickling Mr. Grunch.
Tickle. Oh, the kerfluffling has begun. He does manage to cycle the workers, but the tickling is commencing. Absolutely tickling.
That doesn't work.
Helping.
Oh, no! And the Mason gets the kill.
Fucked in the ass.
Avenged. Hey, Fast 2 Fulcrum could be pretty scary. Especially since DI still doesn't have any military units. We'll be getting one pair of
two quasis coming, so there's not too much in the way of military, and at least one vulture will get over there. I can cause him a lot of problems if he manages to get a good lobster off and actually manages to kill a couple of them. Because then he's going to have to make more and more and more, and then he's going to have to cripple his workers. Meanwhile, the Terran is already ahead in workers. But it doesn't seem like he wants to leave his base.
He's kind of just taking map control, laying the mines along the place. It is just pure Vulture Man for now. Let's see if that gets switched off later.
Stacking up that gas.
Very slowly. Just for more Fulcrums, of course.
Yep. Well, we used to see the Terrans just, like, sit back and wait for Tier 2, but now the Quarry is in Tier 1, which I think is actually a change that was done right around when I last played.
Yeah, I think so.
I didn't play it, but I saw it.
Right.
And that Vulture just manages to barely escape the Tickle Storm with like 2 shots left.
That's right, that's right. Now, there is a worker burrowed over here, and DeadInfested is going to trip the mine. Oh, stopped from being able to expand. And you know what? If Grunch was on the ball there, he could have just sniped that worker and made it even more obnoxious for DI to take the expo. It's got the
I actually thought he might have been like intentionally trying to pop the mines to pull him out, but it kind of ended disastrously either way. Now this hatch has to get canceled, and the Drillith is dead.
Indeed, indeed, yeah. DeadInfested in a little bit of trouble here. We do have a stockade being added behind the scenes. At the quarry now finished, we can get some more worker production.
You know, if he really wanted to, he could just run past the circuit and just lose like 1 or 2 vultures, and then there is very little stopping him from killing like half the workers immediately. One of the vultures is very, very low, so he might take some damage, but if he ends up killing the quasis on the way out, like it's a little too late now, there's too many now, but before the last one's hatched, there was definitely a window he could have snuck up there. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, the lobsters.
Yeah, I think at this point,
the
Grunch
lobsters.
is just trying to buy some time here, and indeed, DeadInfested is getting a lot of his units cut
my
off.
God.
Oh my goodness!
Actually escaped.
Oh,
He's
going to do a little bit more than escape. He's going to go ahead.
So
and
many of those
dive
vultures
back
are
in.
so low.
That's
Like,
right.
He's getting so many.
Ah, the 3 of them pop at the end.
Finally called the bluff. He would have gotten such insane mileage out of it if it wasn't for that last exchange.
Yeah. I mean, he still had managed to get a lot of quasi-deaths, but you're right that keeping those 3 alive and repairing them later or something would have definitely been nice. Grunch has put down a ministry on location at the natural, so he's going to be ahead in terms of base timing. This is kind of a lower economy game. I mean, we see the Hydra Thin coming for DeadInfested, but worker count has been pretty low for these players. There was a long period of time where Grunch wasn't making anything.
Now.
Yes.
So, and increasing. He is just flying ahead on workers.
That's right. That's right. I was explaining this to Shadow Fury 333. But what a name! And I was mentioning to him that he can hold Alt to see to count the units that are in production in the top right there. So you can see that Grunch is making 3 workers at a pop right now. So it's definitely it's stacking up there. It's stacking up.
Holding Alt, I'm not seeing that any different. I'm getting the unit damage taken and damage.
Just look at the top right. The counter changes.
Oh, yeah.
It counts incomplete units, basically, when you hold Alt.
Yeah, it's been a little while.
Yeah.
I was looking at the units. And then I was looking at the actual little bars, and those weren't changing. So I was slightly confused by that. But you're talking about something different. Now, to me, the switch to Hydras at this point is definitely very different.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when it's already Fulcrum, which can just get Cyclops and has CC in the form of lobsters that can, like, the Hydras are so squishy that they're going to take a lot of damage to this. To me, it doesn't seem very efficient. Feels like maybe like heavy melee might have been better, just to absorb the lobsters, absorb the damage, and let the Quasis get in. But I thought he might have been going for something very aggressive, like a bust here. Instead, he's not moving out at all. He's not even scouting.
Yes. Yeah, neither player really is.
Yeah, and he's not doing anything. Meanwhile, in the Terran's base, everything is huddled around this anchor like a bums around a fire.
Yeah. I was laughing at that earlier.
Palladium is coming, and that's also quite new. I remember that being discussed a while back, adding T1.5 back into the tech trees.
Yeah. So similar to how you can mutate the pool and the den into like a halfway tech, or you can wait until tier 2 and skip that entirely. Shroud now coming for DeadInfested, so he's going to have all the basic structures. See some.
He might actually be thinking of Zoryus or something here.
Mm-hmm.
Gorgokuras wouldn't be too bad either, especially against the Cyclops. But it's going to be Madrigals, and that's
scary.
That's not a good spot to be in, is tier 1 Zerg against Madrigals. So definitely wants to have some way of getting on top of those as fast as possible, except he doesn't even know that is what is coming. So looks like Starpad and probably Anseals are coming up next.
Yeah, you'd have to think that the Anseal works pretty nicely. It was recently changed, not in this game version, of course, but in the more recent versions of the game. You can actually use Anseals to absorb splash damage now as well. It still is very energy inefficient in a sense, but it's...
Yeah, that's what made Gorgokuras also really good, is the fact they just kind of ignored the Anseal entirely.
Yeah, it does get absorbed. Like, before it was doing damage to the energy and still bypassing the shield entirely, so it was kind of like a double whammy where you were sustaining damage to both HP bars, and now it's actually going to go through the energy first. So I kind of view it as a bug fix, but you know.
The Aziracore stats are substantially different. I thought they used to have 150 health and slightly more damage.
They used to be a lot more Chadley. Now they're a little bit more spammable. And the stats are different again on pre-release compared to...
So their cost, they were like 150 or something like that.
Yeah. They're only, I think, 100 or 75 or something like that.
All right, I see. So they're more like swarming units.
Yeah. You make a little bit more of them. And you know what? They're still pretty good versus Terran Bio because they bounce the attacks and stuff. Yeah. But versus Mech, I mean, even though we have the Clerics here and Aziracores can help with that, I don't actually like DeadInfested's composition versus this. He is going to get the evolved
look
nodes.
At the unit count too, right?
Yeah.
Like, the Terran's army's units are way more valuable.
Yep.
And it's way more beefy. And while there is only the one magical at the moment, that is a chunk of Ahmed and Goliaths. And Goliaths don't normally deal that much damage. But the Zerg units aren't really like super tanky. So, he's got to watch out for that magical though.
That's right.
Go in front.
You know, the last time I saw Grunch use a magical, he didn't even deploy it, and that's exactly what happened here. Didn't realize it was an anti-air unit, I guess, until you deploy it, but there you go. And you know what? Since most of the DPS is busy on this third base, DeadInfested actually got a nice favorable trade there. Doesn't have to worry about the magical shooting infinity targets.
He got in a few kills. He did lose a lot of his units in the process, though. It's just the Terran can't really push anymore at this moment. You said magicals are anti-air now?
When they're in their mobile mode, they shoot air and they deal splash damage. So they're kind of like
okay, so the base mode is no longer like a really strong piercing attack.
That's right, yeah.
For ground units.
Yeah. So if you want ground damage, you switch over to the the immobile mode also deals damage to air units. Like it can also target air. By the way, Cyprian drop. I like Grunch's style.
We do have Zoryus out like I expected, but they're not over here. It is a circuit. He gets in one worker kill, and that's going to be it.
Yeah, pretty good reactions here for DeadInfested.
Oh, he might actually get the circuit down. Maybe?
I think just narrowly it won't.
There is a fight going on in the front. He did manage to kill a bunch of workers, it looked like, possibly, and the Zoryus, or maybe those were all military units.
Yeah, those are all military. It's just Zoryus and the brood spawn that they create.
Oh, and that Goliath is dead.
And another one.
That one is dead, and a lobster. It managed to only hit the one Zoryus.
Magical.
Really threading the needle there.
Well, he's definitely going to end up suffering a military defeat here. Grunch making another madrigal in the back. Maybe he'll use it more adeptly this time.
All of his military is really focused on the Zoryus, and they just absorbed all the damage and let the Hydras and the Quasis clean up. There is still a little pack of vultures chilling out over here in this fourth base that are just kind of denying it, but I don't think anything's even gone over there. They don't have any kills yet. But they're over there if he really needs them.
And at this point, I mean, DeadInfested isn't mining from his main, so he's transferring some workers back now.
His eco's really hurting,
and
but
Grunch has
a ton of money that's not being used yet.
Yes,
so
yes, that is true. He's got 2K.
If that money was turned into units in the midst of this, I think at this point he would have an army that could close the game.
Yep.
Or at least he would be able to do a huge amount of damage, because it's going to take a while for DeadInfested to get back momentum. Looks like he wants tier 2, actually.
Yeah, it could be the case. I mean, he might be feeling like he can't break the siege, but the other thing that's kind of interesting about this situation for Grunch is that it feels like if he had switched into a couple phalanxes, he could have probably dealt with that a lot better. Or if he had the madrigals on the front and they were deployed, he has figured out the siege button, so he has deployed them. And the mine in the middle just catches the little bit of a move out here. A lot of hydras, and now look at this. The vultures are going to come in and scout.
Just us.
What did you say?
When the lobster exploded, it showed a ping on the map. Is that just for the observers?
Yeah. So when you're a witness or in a replay, you get a ping when there's a contact that you're not looking at. So it's just
I saw his vultures turn around. I was like, okay, so he definitely noticed it, but was that because of the ping or not?
No. I mean, if they were on attack move, they attacked it, so there is that too.
And these vultures are fucked.
Yes, indeed. They're going to fly in there and get annihilated, and of course they do. But hey, they scouted that a lot more military were made, so at this point Grunch knows that DeadInfested is not going into the economic state. He knows that he's trying to be aggressive with the army.
Oh, the Hydras.
Yeah, attacking into that
They got all stuck on each other and took a lot of Cyclops damage.
It was something that, this is bringing me back to a lot of conversations I was having around the time that this tournament was taking place, and one of the things that Hapsea brought up is that when you retreat, because of the way that units don't have the fluid pathing of StarCraft 2, where they just kind of stick to each other, the units will get caught up on a retreat path, and you have to kind of babysit them a little bit to get them out faster.
You got to separate them out.
Yes, yeah.
Kind of know which is faster and which is fatter, and kind of thread them out a little bit. Yeah. It's very important to do that, and on approaching too, because I was noticing that in many games that if you approach wrong, then you units get stuck on each other. The units with a high range pin the shorter range units, and you definitely need to have some movement there. It took him a little while to get he had a lot of Masons in that third just chilling out. Only now did he move them. So he is, however, double DeadInfested worker count at the moment, which is absolutely massive.
Yep, DeadInfested has secured a third base, so he can soon be on even economics. But tier 2 on the way for both players. And you definitely favor Grunch's position. It's just, the thing you always worry about is that DeadInfested, he's obviously played the game a bit more than Grunch has, a bit more at this point, actually. And he knows the units, he knows the tech tree. Once he gets up to tier 2, that's where some of his favorite Zerg units are, the Calculus being chief among them. I would absolutely expect him to be able to still be surprisingly lethal, even in this position where he's super far behind, because Grunch doesn't really know his strength yet. He doesn't know his power. Yeah. And honestly, I mean, DeadInfested is out on the map. That's the scariest part. If the Zerg army is kind of contained into their bases or whatever, they can't surround you nearly as much. And that is the strength of the Zerg army. But right now, Grunch is going to be going into captaincies. Tier 2 has just finished mutating for DeadInfested, and he goes straight to the Tethvit Swamp, which is going to unlock the Tetzoricor, of course, the Giga Chad unit, and of course the Vithrilisk as well, although I don't think that's going to be as significant. I mean, it does do very, very nicely versus the Anseal, because it's always over the ground units, so you're getting the debuff on everything.
Just a couple of them to spread their debuff onto the ground units. Like, when you look at the Terran's army right now, it looks big, but it's mostly infantry now. This is actually not as scary of the army in terms of the game time as is the army that he initially attacked the third with, because now it's mostly infantry, and he's rocking over 4,000 minerals. So I definitely think that DeadInfested can easily knowledge check this, and I think he's going to, because there's some basilisks coming in around, and those are going to make mincemeat of the infantry. Yeah. And if you start seeing like convalisks, lakizilisks, calgalisks can help. I think that they're going to get melted if they get attacked, but I mean, the infantry are shorter range, and he can definitely move around the map a lot more easily. There is some of the heavier units coming en route, but again, the bulk of the Terran army is actually very, very frail, especially against Tier 2 Zerg, where they start getting more like area of effect and multi-attack options and just, you know, like brood spawn, and they can really cause a headache. The other thing that DeadInfested can do is turn all these circuits into Scorchrits, and suddenly they become way more likely to sustain the infantry, especially the drops, which there is indeed one en route. Another 4 Cyprians.
Yeah, probably offered up here. If they drop to the third, it's going to be a lot more annoying for DeadInfested to clear that, even though his army's kind of more localized, because there is no circuit, right?
See it, depending on his pathing. He's looking for a double attack here. But
yes, yeah.
It's going to be slightly out of timing unless he holds it. And indeed, I think the Trojan's going to miss that third.
Oh, yeah, and the Anseals are walking a little bit too far forward. Nice correction, though.
Did manage to fix that before they got tickled.
That's right. Trying to spread out his army here, StarCraft 2 style. But I don't know if it's going to matter too much. Remember, those basilisks are here, but are they in great enough number? Not much of a front line right now for DeadInfested, and unfortunately for him, most of his Zoryus are kind of mixed in. So, very scary fight to take in this situation, but Grunch is starting to pool up, and this is where the Zerg can try to go for a surround.
Yep. Both players are very, very starved for gas. The Cyprians are going straight into the base, but they're going to drop right on top of another circuit.
They're blocked by the eggs.
Yep. The eggs are just happily tanking, but we've already seen that a circuit can deal with them. And he's going to attack these circuits in the third. That's going to offer him the front line he needs.
Oh, look at that.
This time, at least, the Magicals get to deploy.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's dealing a lot of damage, and you know what? The Anseals were protecting it for so long. Finally, it'll be focused down. Kagralisks are out for the DPS, but it feels like, I don't know, this is a really awkward fight. You don't really want to be fighting in this kind of corridor, but I think DeadInfested, he just doesn't have anything in production. He's got 6 more Kagralisks coming.
Imagine if those were Scorchrits. He would have done so much damage. Oh, there is a battle worker.
There is indeed a battle worker. It's here for repairs or something.
But the long-range Zerg eventually forces out the infantry. The Guerrilla War Corps gets in an extra kill.
Yes, that's always thematic. All right, well, what's the reaction? Grunch has 7,000 minerals, my man.
He's got some money. Definitely got some money. His stonks have increased. Now, critically, is that there really wasn't... I don't think there was even any Tier 2 infantry in that. There certainly wasn't that
There's some
many.
Apostles, but he didn't use their ability. At this point, they haven't been converted to a passive, so it's still an active ability, and he did not use it.
Now it's like 80 million Kagralisks. It's not really like the ideal choice against the infantry, but they certainly can kill the mech units, and getting a couple Anseal snipes would have been nice during that. And especially when they keep dancing forward. If he's got his eyes on there, he can just grab the Kagralisks and just burst them down before they can respond.
Oh, but here's what I was talking about. The Cyprians in the third, there's no circuit in the mineral line. Now here comes the engagement on the left-hand side. And you're guaranteed worker damage during this all, but DeadInfested, he does have the right force, and I think he's got a good enough position to defend. Oh, the Anseals dying,
give their lives. The battle worker dies. Magical's got 7 kills. And DeadInfested pulls back, and those Cyprians have annihilated his worker line, at least half of it there.
Yeah, 8 kills combined, and more counting, right? Spraith is dead.
These defenses are morphed. One is morphing, and one's about to finish. And that held up the Terran a little bit there. 25 health on it. Oh, yeah. And so many Goliaths have died to pathing there, trying to wiggle around. And the Cyprians killed themselves in the third, but only after massacring just about every single worker.
Yeah, and we're starting to see a transition here.
105
Yes.
31 workers.
Yes. Yes, it's crazy.
These are Neblime numbers at this point.
Yeah, but Neblime would never have this much mineral bank, I feel like. Not in a
No,
million
no,
years.
definitely
Not
he
even in
definitely
a
appreciates
desync
the
replay.
disparity of workers.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's funny because he saturated the bottom right base with all of his workers, but he didn't get any of the Vespi. And it's like, dude, you've got enough minerals. He's starting to cap gas a little bit here.
Well, he never increased his production at all.
Yeah.
So it's like, still the 2 Fulcrums, only 1 Palladium, 2 Stockades, only 1 Vestry. And he's built some stuff on the Captaincies. And he's got 2 Mantles. He's queuing up. And I mean, at this stage, just cap the geysers and go to tier 3 and build ion cannons.
That's right.
You may
Diadems
as
will
well.
break
I mean,
it.
you already pretty much dominate the map. You can just take the whole map, build the gas, double your production, and by the time the Zerg moves out, you've rebuilt the army. Oh, and the Seraph is going to cause him so many headaches.
That's right. Irradiate. There was a worker hiding underneath that Scorcheth that it got moved away at some point, but the radiation field really nicely done there.
Radiation just tapped everything coming out.
Yeah.
He's got to snipe that Seraph when it tries to come in. At least make him trade for it, but...
Well, he could have done it,
away.
but he decided against it, it looks like.
That Scorcheth has 11 kills, though. Like, they're
1,200
working
damage
miles because the
almost.
Terran just don't do damage to it.
Yes. Yeah, no real focus fire coming out there. And remember, they cost Vespine now, so it's not just a pure mineral investment. If you snipe that, which you can do, you're going to reduce the DPS. You might be able to win the fights at that point. The other thing to point out is you're forcing him to spend more resources he really doesn't want to spend. DeadInfested, he doesn't have that many workers, man.
Yeah,
We've talked about it a couple of times. He's got 11 on minerals in the natural.
Look at the bottom right, though. Like, that's super oversaturated, but it's still, like, the income's going to be so much higher.
Yeah.
He really can just go to tier 3 if he wants, but, I mean, he can also just drop, like, 20 barracks and start making nothing but Akhmeds.
Yes, yeah. Or, a bunch
He's
of
got a lot of
Mantles for the
Akhmeds, but he can
Ramses.
have more.
He can have way
And another
more,
battle
yeah.
worker is going to join the front. Maybe it wants to repair that Seraph that has no health.
Yeah, could have been. Looks like DeadInfested are going to be looking for 12
Terran's
o'clock.
bases is they're not at all defended.
Yes, that's true.
Like, if there was a Zerg drop, just some Quasis or something.
Yeah, or just
That too
waypoint a
would
bunch
do
of
a lot of
Zeths,
damage
right, into a
similarly.
location, start picking them
'Cause
apart.
There's
yeah.
nothing. There's no missile turrets, no sentinels, no nothing. Completely naked. And Nidus would do wonders, too. Just bring an Avi somewhere down there and cut, like, right in the middle. Just drop it right in the middle and attack 2 areas. Like, at least scout it out, but... DeadInfested is very content to sit on these bases here. He does have a worker sitting at that 4th there. Nothing's checking it out at the moment. I think.
Yeah,
Grunch has kinda gotten a little...
he's so poor he doesn't have enough money. Didn't have enough money to take the base when he wanted to. There's some more irradiates.
No.
Gotta watch out for that. We
Doesn't
even
hit the Evagrillis.
No.
So they're tanking a little bit here, but they're gonna walk back through it.
Yeah, and the Olympians here getting that extra armor penetration when shooting targets that are facing away from them. So you get that nice retreat damage there.
Now, sitting on the ledge here would do wonders for him. At least maybe he would avoid some of the ground damage, but the Irradiate is slowly annihilating what remains of his army, and this base is going to get annihilated.
Yeah, he's trying to see if he can fight back, but he had to go through the Irradiate, as you mentioned, and there's more options here. One of the Seraphs will go down finally.
Oh, getting some damage in, both Seraphs
nice.
down. Now, he really wants to focus on this Hatros, but that can actually really work against him, because now his army is kind of split up. The Zerg is getting in more kills than they really should be in this situation. They do have to retreat, but they get a little bit of damage out of it.
Hey, that battle worker is dealt 90 damage and climbing. Instrumental, I tell you.
Yeah, he is.
I love the bloodthirsty
Killing
race that
machine.
executed 2 larvae and everything. All right, plenty of Catalysts here for DeadInfested, but he does seem to be against the ropes. Had to spend all of his money down.
Army control is getting a little sloppy here. They're getting kind of separated. Battle workers are going over there somewhere.
That's right.
All over the place. They're baiting him into attacking him. Now he has to go over here and kill this Circuit, because fuck this Circuit.
That's
fuck
right.
it in particular.
I don't think he's going to get it.
Trade the rest of his army for it.
Annihilated.
There was some kind of goal there, I'm not sure. But DeadInfested is going to take that 4th finally.
Yeah, listen, he really needs to get more workers, mate. He's down below 30.
It is 142 to 29. This is Neblime like 10 minutes into the game.
Sentinels, hey, he heard you through the ether, adding them to the 5th base. As the 6th goes down at, predictably, 6 o'clock. Who would have guessed?
God, just think about like some Nathicores would have been annoying. Oh, the Seraphs charge forward, and one dies.
Second one will be
And the other dies.
Oh, no, the Madrigals! They could have deployed. Oh, Irradiate.
Grunch's macro is doing so much better, but his army control really leaves a lot to be desired. But DeadInfested is just starved, just completely starved. His bases are mined out. He doesn't have hardly any workers at all. They all died heroic deaths to the Cyprians.
Yes, that's right. Well, an anvil's nearly complete. If we can get a Morningstar out there, that could be a big money move.
But at the same time, like, you feel like Grunch could have closed this game
like
10 minutes ago.
Absolutely.
Because just building like some phalanxes or something, parking out and then killing the Zerg every time they come out and then harassing with Irradia or something. Like, he could have starved him out, but he's given him so many kills. 8,000 minerals. Absolutely disgusting rich. Just refuses to build any more production structures. I'm starting to understand why he may have found this hard.
Well, to be fair, he was taking down players like Hapsea as a Zerg player, so I don't know. It's he must have found it enjoyable to play the easy race or something. The Scorcheth is just heckling him from above.
Yeah, it's got 3 kills now.
Ugh.
Absolutely annihilating.
It's just the raw damage. It almost got 1,000 just from that. Oh, another one that bites the dust.
Another joins the grave.
Hey, Daedal in the bottom right. That's an interesting location for it.
Yep. It's well hidden. The Zerg will not scout it.
True. DeadInfested hasn't done that much scouting.
Incredibly sneaky. Now, this extra base is up. Oh, now he's mining. He's remembered. My workers exist. Oh,
sort of.
No, but the Terran's going to find it.
They get a little bit closer. They see the Kager on the ground. Yeah.
And he can finally find it, and it's Jover. Emotional defeat. Oh, at least he burrowed his workers this time. They might escape being destroyed.
Yeah, well, the rest of the army's kind of consolidating outside of the natural.
DeadInfested could like pick off a chunk of this Terran army, or at least engage something a lot smaller than the main one. It looks like he wants to, but he's got no real front line here.
We've got yet another anvil being made in the bottom right.
Something would be nice.
No Morningstars out. No no actual nuclear payloads available right now.
A little intimidating.
Hey, how did that Maverick get over there?
He could be just building one of everything, figuring out what it does.
Yeah, that's true. That's what Keen did a lot, so, you know.
Yeah. It is little similar vibes to Keen in some ways.
Well, he's definitely got a lot of money.
He really just doesn't want to, like, build siege or focus fire these or use Irradiate or whatever. It's like the control is just not there.
Well, he's figuring it out. He's got
so many units though, like
just
a move in like he's doing, and it'll kind of sort itself out, especially with the cataphracts. But DeadInfested getting some target priority in there, able to pick out some of the heavy hitters and force his way in, even though it's at a very high cost.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, you're talking about only having 17 Kagralisks left. But, you know, the Remax is coming. He's got 2 Seraphs. He's got a nice smorgasbord of a bunch of different units. You know, Grunch can do this all day, and DeadInfested, I think he's got an appointment with map number 2 coming up.
He's just lacking those minerals. I mean, even his bases that he has are not fully saturated.
Yes, yeah. He's down to 30 workers. Could be 29 if he turns that one in the top left into a hatch. Poor DeadInfested. 10,000 minerals. Grunch, you could just spare him some for them. Just hand them off.
Yeah, I just like go into the menu, allied menu, just trade them.
Oh no, a random Maverick spots the 8 Kagralisks. You know, again, if DeadInfested had done moves like this, where he just forks off a couple of units and maybe attacks the bases and stuff.
Just put pressure elsewhere,
yes.
right?
Like it's
obviously struggling with control. You gotta put more pressure onto that so you can throw him off kilter, then maybe open up some opportunities yourself. There's nanite assemblies on the way. Just get the most expensive structure; it'll sort itself out. But I think once DeadInfested like comes down here and just sees how much shit is on the map, he just knows that there's not really much point at this stage. Oh, the lobster!
Leftover lobotomy.
Found him at long last.
Absolutely annihilated. Yeah, battle workers. Yes, fuck them up. Get him, Mason men. Oh shit.
Mavericks are irrelevant 30 minutes into the game.
That's right. Well, here comes the counter push.
Contemplating his options.
Yeah, Grunch could, you know, just attack move with the reinforcements at any point. But you know, this is what we were saying is like at any point you could have done something like this, and you could have maybe gotten a lot of action out of it.
Yeah, before the Terran had like 12,000 minerals.
Yes. Poor DeadInfested.
DeadInfested is contemplating. He's thinking.
He has no idea.
He's got the APM, but he's thinking.
Yeah, the push is going to come in, and that'll close things out. Grunch has finally found enough of an opening to get rid of DeadInfested. Money wasn't there. Focus wasn't there. I mean, the money's definitely there for Grunch, but GG has to be called, and we'll be going on to game number 2.
I gotta go AFK very briefly.
That's fine. We have a pause button. But not before I show the score screen. Well, after a game like that, it's anybody's idea what'll happen on Impetus, which is going to be map number 2. Any predictions, Mess? Do you think maybe DeadInfested will be able to slap him around?
I think DeadInfested has to take some kind of advantage early in the game before it turns into him having like literal thousands of resources. I think he could have knowledge checked him in tier 2, but the mass infantry turned out to be actually kind of advantageous for Grunch because the Kaggerlists kind of waste too much of their damage on them.
Yeah,
so
definitely a bit of an overkill.
Definitely feel like Convolisks or like, I mean, maybe Calculus would have actually done better just for some AoE, but
that's
just like heavier units that can just get into them and do some kind of multi-target damage.
Well, we have the Terran UI and music, so that must mean that Grunch in the top right is going to do wonders here. Any guesses on the color? I'm going to say... Oh, I have no idea, but it's probably not...
Vomit.
Electric blue?
Distilled
Palatinate blue. Dude, I always fuck that one up. Over here we have a... Oh, we have a 7-pool from our DeadInfested Zerg in the bottom left, and I'm going to guess he is white? Tea-green. Fuck me. Dude, I got 0 colors this game. Normally I get them pretty nicely, but not this game. So with this, the 7-pool, you want to go... Versus when you're going against Terran, I think you always want to go for Zephyr cores. So that's my guess anyway. Is that,
travel the map faster.
Yeah, especially on this map, right? This is the map that we've seen plenty of times now that it has a very long rush distance for the ground units. So if it's quasis, they could get there and do some damage, but they'll just be endlessly out-microed by the vultures. But he's saving up enough money for 3 pairs of quasis. So if that is indeed what he wants to do, like normally you can fit at least 1 or 2 workers in between during the pool construction. He's decided not to do that. And it will be Zephyr cores.
It is going to be Zeth.
There we go.
I guess he wasn't comfortable like he thought. Maybe he wouldn't have the extra larva or something.
Right. It might not be a very practiced build for DeadInfested. It's funny because I wonder if this is like a pattern. Is that if DeadInfested loses a game, he goes to cheese, and then he maybe tries to play a legit match after.
Well.
That has happened when he's played Terran in these kinds of tournaments.
Too.
Yep, yeah, that makes sense. This is pretty committed. So, you know, I'm scheduling a cast after we're done here, and I was just saying, oh, it'll probably be like 20 minutes. I don't know, that first game went a long time. This one might be really, really quick, actually, as the Zeths are screaming across the map, and second Fulcrum is being made. You know, Grunch, if he shows us better army control with small amounts of units, which I think is an easier ask for him, he should be able to get some action here.
This should be quite manageable, but if they get into his mineral line, they can trade, but the lobster... Ooh, tickle.
Yeah. In a little bit here. Nice worker positioning. Oh, for a split second, loses control. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Remember, there's more Zets coming up. Just going to fall back into the mineral line, but the Vulture, it just idles. It might have been on a follow command or something there. So, yeah, honestly, this is looking pretty rough. He's got 3 Vultures queued up for a second. That bottom Fulcrum, the other one not doing anything.
Oh, the lobsters.
That's a big hit. We do have more Zephyr cores coming, and there's nothing being produced right now for DeadInfested. He looks back for just a split second. He's got lots of money in the bank. He's going to get rid of that mine before it can stun, but it still slows, and that is advantageous for the Vulture. Now a second one is out, and this is where things really turn.
Yeah, I think DeadInfested was maybe a little surprised by his own success here.
Yes.
I don't know about attacking the Fulcrum. That's kind of wasted everything. Like, it can just... If you somehow got it to red, it'll just lift off, and it's like, well, now what do I do? But he ended up losing all the Zeths for like a handful of Vulture kills and some mines, and it just was not worth it. Well, now he's super committed. It's 6 to 15 workers.
Yes.
We're back in the battle worker hot seat. He has enough money for an expansion, but holding it, that's going to be... I think it's going to be down to Grunch fucking up his micro or something like that. Maybe if they get caught running out here like this is about to happen.
Ships in the night. Ships in the night. You had a surround and everything, but neither player looks at it. And that's going to be favoring Grunch. I mean, if nothing happens and the military stays alive, you favor Grunch. Look at the Vulture count.
Nope. Yeah, but if they waste all their time chasing the Zeths around, DeadInfested can pull out some Jaedong moves here. He really doesn't want these Zets.
Oh, that's a nice friendly stun there. You're going to focus on the one that's alive, and now that one's slowed. You can go first around here. Again, it's not possible for these Zets to win the game, but it is possible for them to keep the vulture count kind of low.
Yep.
And maybe keep Grunch a little bit honest. The worker count is not rising, though, and I think that's the big thing. I want to get excited for DeadInfested here, but it looks like he's about to get knocked to the lower bracket. Just judging by it. He has the 6
Keeping
quasis.
His expansion alive is nice, but he needs to, like this is a case where I think Quasis would have been great if they were just on an attack move or something going across the map. There would have been a lot of damage done on those vultures right away. And that could happen here still, depending on if they're on move or not. But there's so many vultures now that even if he loses a couple to getting fumbled, which he is paying attention at this point, it won't matter. And he's figured it out. He's building a 3rd fulcrum.
That's it.
I'm very happy for him.
Yeah, and you know what? We've got equivalent vultures to a greater number than the quasi count right now. So just to put that into perspective, there are a lot of vultures.
Grunch is not only like over double the worker count, he's starting to flow money again.
Yep. Yeah.
He's going to get maybe a little overly focused here, but just placing down some lobsters. DeadInfested want to tickle them before they pitch too big of a tent. But
yeah, but you could just do this.
So much damage in that one burst.
Yeah, they struggle versus armored targets, and DeadInfested is a very long way away from making armored units at this point.
Oh, that's going to get popped.
Yeah,
and
not even canceled, so that's 100 minerals down the drain.
Probably going to get popped too.
Yeah, you can see like they do more damage than concussive in StarCraft 1, but it's still a lot less damage than what they were doing to the quasis. So you can see the significance of armor there. It's going to be enough to snipe the hatch, and DeadInfested just super committed, still only on 6 workers right now. Grunch has no idea how far ahead he really is, and that's a great mine as well. There are more where that came from.
I feel like DeadInfested had like rushed to build that Kegran a lot faster.
Yes.
Like the second the hatch was up,
yeah,
he could have held that, but unfortunately, I don't think even a single vulture died in that exchange. A lot of them are very low, but
yeah, I don't see any vulture rubble. So
they've done so much damage at this point, and the economy is in such shambles that even if he loses every single vulture now, it's not going to make a truly tremendous difference in the game. It's 6 to 20 workers.
I kind of like the situation as well for what Grunch was doing, where his reinforcement units were staying in the base, because the only way he could possibly lose is if the had gone for like an Ovaleth
for a run by or something like
drop
that.
Or whatever, or fast naths or something. So he's even switched in a couple. Well, he's made a Cyclops. So there's stuff like this where he's kind of. I like that he's playing it that way, even though, yes, if he had scouted somehow with like a Watchdog scout, it depends style or whatever, then sure, he could have maybe done something there. And in fact, DeadInfested is thinking about the Ovaleth now, but it's already been sort of preempted as the expansion's coming down for Grunch. It will be a ministry.
It's 2 obbies. Oh, no, just 1. He clicked the wrong.
Yeah, that happens.
He's going to go for the dreaded quasi drop. One of the most terrifying things I've ever inflicted upon someone before.
Dude, did you end up watching that Arbuz hit 'em up game that I was telling you about?
Not yet.
There's quasi drops are featured in that one, and
I've done quasi drops a couple times because I mean you don't think it's that effective, but it is 1 armor pen, so they can kill shit.
Yep. Yeah. Well, especially they just destroy workers really quickly too, so. Can be very deadly. It's really interesting to me to watch like how the units change in threat level and stuff, and a lot of it can also be attenuated by. It's not just like, oh, this unit is out, so that unit's useless. It's more like, oh, this unit's no longer very useful, and then it gets like this support unit. Like, if you ever have seen Lakizalisks be speed boosted by Zoryus or something, like that's scary shit right there. So
look at this. He's looking to move that Avi there, but he saw the vultures. I don't know if Grunch saw that. He did end up selecting them, but by then the Avi was moving away, so it's possible he may have seen it on the mini-map. And might have even thought it was like a worker.
With the mines here, you just think, oh, okay, the Ovaleth is here for detecting the mines. That's probably what you think in this situation. Well, he's unloading in his face. So.
Drop. Got him. Got him.
No, he only loaded 1 up. No, DeadInfested. 1 Quasilisk is not going to do anything. Ah, shucks.
The 1 Quasi is on a warpath.
More
yeah,
stunning.
I mean, like, Quasis, like, you don't think much of them later on in the game because they got 55 health.
Yeah.
But they're so cheap to spam when you have a ton of bases. You just need a filler, but you don't really want to drop gas into anything. Like, a lot of Quasis can still kill tier 2 units, and even, like, tier 3 units, especially only single target ones. And they're fast enough you can just use them to bloody block shit. But they're small enough they're not really going to clutter up your army too much.
Yeah, I think they have a place. It's really interesting, too, how Neblime, when he was playing Zerg in this tournament, he mentioned that you can go for, you stop making Zephyr cores pretty early into the game, and then you hit tier 2, and you need them for corpses for other units, so you start making them again.
I mean, they're also good for, like, run-bys, like, just to take over parts of the map, because, like, you need a few units to kill, like, 20 of them. Oh.
Those single Quasilisk BTFOs.
This is very effective if you think about it. The one Quasi shuts down a base mining for
22 workers
while.
just got transferred, yeah.
Like, it didn't kill it, but it's something. Meanwhile,
the
front.
Oh, my God.
That's the train wreck.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I don't think... there's like... Grunch basically just puts down a bunch of rakes that DI just steps on with his fucking Quasis. Like, that's pretty much what's going on here.
Keep in mind, you're looking at this front line of multiple Madrigals, Clerics, Goliaths, Vultures, and an Anchor. And DeadInfested is on 8 workers. like, this is not a good situation.
Yeah,
This dude's back up to building his stonks.
Yeah, Grunch is
diamond
1200 minerals,
here. And he really can just, like, lift off the anchors. He might even be doing that. Just take the anchor. No, he's just doing the hopscotch. I was going to say, he lift off the anchors, drop them on DeadInfested's ramp, bust the ramp, call it a day.
There is no ramp. There's no natural or anything. He's so behind. Like, if Grunch wasn't kind of new to the project, yes, he would have won by now probably, but DI also probably would have GG'd by now. Like, I'm sure he recognizes that he is not in a good spot. A lot of those Madrigal salvos finally getting some mileage for Grunch. Just shredding a bunch of Quasis on the bridge. Definitely a lot of enforcement here, and yeah, this looks like the final push. No, the Ovolith's on hold position. Oh, it goes away.
Okay. He got intimidated by the Ovolith and never know. It could be like Starcraft 2 where they could just, like, aggressively shit on you randomly.
Yeah, I don't know why they added that, but
nearly 2,000
now people use it
for...
people in StarCraft 2 are using that to unload.
I mean, you could just make a second
K-Grid.
Palladium, like, just some way to keep the money down, like, make it go somewhere.
The Ovolith not able to find too much mileage.
Like, I don't know, like, the dude 7-pooled you. He lost everything repeatedly.
Yes.
And Grunch does not even want to try to probe the Nat right now. He's very intimidated by the masked Quasis. He's just curb stomped over and over and over again. He won't even send down a Vulture to check to see if there's, like, hidden tier 2 or something over there that might actually scare him. He's really, 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 really timid.
Well, 12 workers for DeadInfested. He's only down by 38.
He's cashing up. He's in double digits now.
Gonna get that lodestone set up for the third base. Adding a star pad. Grunch almost has enough Vespene to tech up. He's kind of trying to get his money under control. He's adding stockades to the natural, so he can upgrade his production there. Going up to 5 stockade.
Yeah, I think he realizes, wait a second, I gotta get my money down.
Yeah.
So this is how you start doing it. Because this will be like what I noticed. Like, this is what Hapsaya's problem was when he started. Was when you hit like that 2 base spike, your income goes up a lot.
Yes.
And at that point, you got to start adding production or teching or both, depending on the circumstances. And once he got that down, it was a massive difference.
That's right. Atlas now coming up online in the resource line of the 12 o'clock, or sorry, the natural, I should say.
Got some dwarves coming.
The interesting spot here is just how long does it take Grunch to try to attack up the ramp? Because, like, look at the circuits. They're placed so poorly. This is, like, I don't mean to start shit-talking DeadInfested, but this is horrible. Like, you'd never want the K-Grunts there. Like, they can be walked around up the north because the main is so big, and they're so far away from the ramp, they're not going to get any cliff advantage. So I thought, you put down the K-Grunts, you got the Ovolith, you can just move the K-Grunts before you mutate them. That's what I thought was going to happen here, but...
Oh my god, Ahmed is being mass-produced. Again, he's so timid. He doesn't want to check.
Yes. He's got this nice ring of watchdogs, though. In the main.
He
not a single Ovolith will get past me.
That one quasi drop was devastating. Not just simply physically, where it shut down his base mining for a time. It also caused him to invest hundreds of minerals into watchdogs to prevent it from ever happening again, and a handful of idle units to sit there and watch the watchdogs that watch dogs. And as a result, like he's been traumatized. Absolutely traumatized. There's more of them in the Nat. Like, the investment is massive.
Yeah.
For something that was not committed whatsoever. Just
listen, crossing your T's, dotting your I's. Grunch is finding a way to make a meal out of this game. A dog's dinner, perhaps, with all those watchdogs in tow. And Neblime was petitioning me. He's like, dude, we got watchdogs and we got sundogs. We need a third dog. And I I was like, all right, dude.
Well, when you add the next tier 3 Terran unit, you can make it a dog. So you got one in each tier 2.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And we, building an air unit, so we need it to be a ground unit, obviously.
This is
Well,
this is gonna be tragic.
yeah, the Huracan's just liberating the enemy of their armor. And you know what? The Quaslisk is a single Quasi is in that Ovolith again. You better watch the fuck out, dude. That could shut down a base or something. Look at this Ahmed surround coming up from the bottom.
God.
Oh, it's a massacre.
It's horrendous. He's just pulling back. You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of Warcraft 3.
Oh, with the AI that kills one unit.
How the AI kills like one building, and then they have to like force a move command back to their base, and they just die along the way. Starcraft 2 does that as well.
I did that. I literally built like a scout tower in the enemy natural, and they would attack it and go away. So that was in like the...
That's what I did in the campaign. My campaign run. I just put buildings across the map, just like individual farms and towers, and they would just span like 45 minutes to attack one and then ignore the rest, and it was just... Or they would start leashing inside my bases. That happened.
Okay, DeadInfested has heard me complain about his setting defense, so he's gonna change that. He's gonna draw parentheses or some shit to deal with this problem.
He says, "Well, fuck that. I'm gonna close that hole.
That's right.
I'm gonna seal it up." He's got 14 to 7. Oh shit! Oh shit!
Oh, he's doing it. Never mind. False alarm.
Yeah, got him. Got him.
Dude, how is Grunch possibly going to muster up enough courage to attack this unit on the high ground? It's a static defense structure. He's just going to get attacked by it once.
The lone Goliath is on a warpath.
Here we go.
He's going to fuck that Ovolith up. Here he comes. And yet, this is the scout
Dude,
that he
this
needed
is where
all along.
this is where he realizes, holy shit, it's 16
he's
minutes.
Doing a favor.
He's 16 minutes in and he doesn't have a natural? Like, what is this guy doing? That is the go signal. That's Grunch's go signal, dude. He's going in hard. Fuck that Acherosk. I can't believe it.
The accidental Goliath pull is what makes him realize, wait a second, I'm ahead. I have 3,000 minerals and I'm ahead. I guess I'll attack. Meanwhile, the lone circuit that DeadInfested worked so hard to put up there is... it's just demutated. No, it's going to remorph.
All right.
He's going to be tickled by it again.
Well, hey, he'll be pulled up, and he'll see that the army is like a quarter of the size of what he's got. So this is absurd and obscene. DeadInfested is just about to tech out. He's almost got a tier 2.
Yeah.
Needs a little bit more minerals, and then he can drop it.
Oh no, Ahmed.
Ahmed died. But
getting traumatized by a circus on a ledge has happened to Grunch a couple times.
Yes, it has.
4,400. And climbing.
Yeah, patch my vulture up. In pre-release, I had recolored the cleric to be using a blue nano gun instead of the different glow. So it looks more like, oh, they're actually healing with proper equipment and stuff. You know what I mean?
Well, Ahmed is not being healed. Oh, some Tinker's towers have just exploded.
Oh, he must have salvaged them.
Incredibly violent.
I guess he wants the guild halls for Olympians.
The Ovolith is scouting. DeadInfested just seeing just to the extent of the psychological trauma he's inflicted upon his opponent with the Soul Quasi. Just imagine if he had a second Quasi, he could drop it in that third. There's nothing in the lodestone at all.
Don't worry, the Durandals are on the case.
They're tickling. Oh, they're trapped.
The vulture blocks the way.
They're not even chasing. Just imagine. Just stick a Quasi there. He'll probably pull every single unit out of that net to come over and step on it.
Dude, why is DeadInfested still playing the game? That's what I want. Like, yes, you got to tier 2. But what is going on here, dude? So,
he's got a plan. He's got a plan. He's got a Droleth. He's going to ignore that vulture. Listen, this has helped me out against Shambler countless times. Surely, it'll help out DeadInfested.
Oh, no Brave Cyclops. Oh, it died. Oh, so did the Maverick. Oh, the Goliath is now dying. Grunch is thinking
maybe
about what
it'll
to do.
remind Grunch that he's not like playing a training mission or something. And then there is actually another person in the match. He can just come over there and
he was spending like 30 seconds just watching that happen. And then he moved his camera somewhere else.
He's testing cleric healing efficiency. He's got his Excel sheet out in his calculator. He's figuring out what's best, right?
I can't believe this.
Meanwhile, DeadInfested has been wiggling around his army in place for a while. He's getting antsy.
Yes.
What's happening elsewhere on the map? I'll tell you. Grunch had 7,000 minerals for a moment. He did spend some. He's getting some Olympians again. It's a Scorchrith. Now his kill count keeps going up.
Damn straight. 2,100 damage. Dude, what are we watching? What's going on? Don't worry, 2 pairs of mutas are on the way.
He wants those expansions. He sees that somewhere on the map, Grunch's panties are not quite tightened up.
Oh look, he's taking a hidden base, secret base.
Yep, this is how you get him.
And here come the
now,
mutas.
You don't want to attack the vulture here because it gives you away. He's gonna fly over the vulture. I'm not sure he noticed it. He's paying attention to that anvil. Oh, the Overlord building an anvil next to it. He's not gonna kill it. The mutas are coming though.
This is a betrayal most foul. What will Grunch do?
Grunch,
you can just attack the Scorchrith! No! Don't do
Yes! Yes!
Oh my god, we're trapped in the replay.
Meanwhile, they realize, wait a second, this thing has rebuilt, and it gets
immediately annihilated. Oh my god, this could be it.
11 kills!
This is the move. The muta's dogging into the 12 o'clock. They're going to attack some workers. Grunch is now going to leave his army on attack move and win the game, I hope.
There's just this giant string of blue now moving across the map.
Oh my god, there's 5 static defense structures. Dude, what kind of derangement have I been missing out on? I left this game uncasted for this long? There's no way, dude. Radiates out. That's going to be it for DeadInfested's ground units. He's going to call GG. And Grunch, the man of the hour, and I mean that almost literally, given how long this fucking went.
Dude, DeadInfested had 59 kills in that game.
20 of them were from the fucking Scorchrith.
Yes. I think more. A lot of units died to the 2 Scorchriths in there.
I can't believe that. Well, that was a set, and as a result, Grunch will move on to, I believe, face Taco Cake, if I'm not mistaken. But we see here DeadInfested has fallen to the lower bracket. He will face a Nozlix. So that is what we are going to play and cast next time, and I expect it to be very deranged. Well, sir, any closing thoughts?
That was amazing. I don't know why Grunch thought he couldn't handle it. He was in control. He was the system. He played precisely like a computer player in Warcraft 3 might. No reason to consider that won't get you to the top of the clown show. Definitely could have been king of the hill.
That's right.
But maybe he was afraid of that one quasi again. And that fear kept him up at night and he couldn't handle it. And he just couldn't live with that anymore. It destroyed him. It destroyed his soul. And since he had no soul, couldn't use his shoes anymore. And if you can't use your shoes anymore, you're walking around in all the goddamn needles and diarrhea on the street. And that just ain't right. And that's why he had to throw himself off a bridge.
Well, Grunch, a.k.a. Urbmon's little brother, I hope you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, and I hope you will return to us one day. There's more to come, so stay tuned for more Grunch action. I will see you guys later. Fucking Christ.